Do you ever feel tired in a way that is hard to explain? Like a tiredness that comes not from doing too much, but from noticing too much. And maybe that's with other people. Like you can't help but notice their tone and their body language. What is it that they're not saying? You feel an emotional current or tension in the air. It could also be in the world around you. Like you always notice the suffering and the hardships and all these things that are going on that you can't control. If you're empathetic, you often carry around these feelings of others and the weight of the world along with your own feelings. And this can be exhausting. This is a feeling that women often experience, but we don't talk about enough. Emotional awareness is being attuned to things beneath the surface and beyond just the words themselves that are said. So it's about the tone in which the words are said. It is body language. It is mood shifts. It is like micro facial expressions that may be even hard to notice, but you feel yourself noticing it. And a lot of it is just that feeling that you get if something is off and you know it is off, especially with people that you know well. Emotional awareness is being very in tuned to the emotions of others. Often women are praised for being empathetic and understanding and having emotional intelligence. These things are often seen as feminine traits as opposed to masculine traits that a woman is expected to have. And if she does not express this understanding and empathy as much, she's called cold and harsh and berated for it. And so this means that if there is a problem that comes up in the emotional realm, a woman is often expected to step in and try to smooth things over. This emotional awareness is not just some trait that some of us develop. For women, it's a survival skill that we are socialized to learn from a young age. Emotional awareness is a beautiful thing. If you're empathetic, you are the one that people feel safe opening up to and sharing hard things that they wouldn't share with others. They know that they can trust you and that you will see them and validate them. And also, if you're in tune to emotions like this, it allows for that deeper connection and relationship with others. Relationships that go deep beneath the surface and you truly get to know other people. And if you're willing to share about yourself, people can get to know you too. Another wonderful thing that comes with emotional awareness is that intuition. Often, if you feel a certain way about a situation, about a person, there is some kind of spidey sense in you telling you something. And most of the time, you can trust that intuition. I've found that there have been very few times in which my intuition about a situation was wrong. And of course, it doesn't mean jump to the worst possible conclusion. It's still important to talk to others, to verify, to check in. But it's a great feeling to have an intuition and an understanding in situations where others might not. Also, being able to notice means you're able to be more inclusive of others. If someone is feeling left out or is not keeping up in a conversation, you may be one of the only ones noticing it. And it allows you to reach out to that person and bring them in and make them feel welcome. And often that person who can bring someone else in is just so vital in group settings, in such a needed role in relationships. One more great aspect of emotional awareness is the moral clarity that it can bring, because you're unable to walk by suffering and injustice and ignore it. You are able to kind of put yourself in the shoes of somebody else and try to think about what they might be going through, empathize with that. The world needs that care and that kindness and your awareness. And as I'm going to talk about, of course, that can bring a lot of weight with it to notice all the suffering all the time. But we need people to notice, and we need people to not keep quiet about what they're noticing. If you are an emotionally attuned person, you've probably been told that you're such a good friend and a good listener, a thoughtful soul, somebody who cares deeply about the world around them and cares about harm that they witness. You're probably someone that people feel safe opening up to because they know that you'll care about them. And so this sensitivity is not a flaw. It is something that is vital to our world. However, there is an exhaustion that can come from constant emotional awareness. You may find yourself always scanning for emotional shifts and looking for little discrepancies in people's behavior This emotional hypervigilance can be very exhausting and take its toll. Then you may find yourself editing your own actions and words to try to keep others happy, always having to monitor yourself to be walking on eggshells, making sure that other people feel okay, and that's exhausting in its own way. I myself have felt responsible in the past for moods in other people that I didn't cause, and somehow took it on as my responsibility to try to change that in somebody else. With this hypervigilance, you don't leave yourself time for rest or relaxation, of letting yourself experience your own feelings and not just having to manage the feelings of others. And maybe if you do try to keep out of a situation, you'll later feel guilt, like maybe you could have made things better if you had stepped in. When you are the emotional container for others, that can lead to resentment that builds up over time because you're not being seen the way that you need to be seen, and you're not being supported the way that you need to be supported. When you are always emotionally aware, you're never really off duty and your brain doesn't get the break that it deserves. And then zooming out to a societal level, if you are an emotionally aware person, you are the one who often notices injustices in the world the most. You are going to be tuned into the cruelty that may be becoming normalized. You are aware of the pain behind headlines. They're not just statistics to you. You are very aware about how they affect people and are causing suffering, and you're unable to just look away from that. You feel affected by violence and suffering that doesn't directly touch you, but you have in your heart a sorrow and empathy for those who are going through it. It is a very depressing and isolating feeling to wonder, why is nobody else bothered by this? Why doesn't anybody else seem to care about this? And why does this affect me so deeply? Emotionally aware people don't have the luxury of not noticing something. And that phrase, ignorance is bliss, rarely applies because they are rarely ignorant. Emotionally aware people are essential for the fabric of the world because they are the ones who often notice harm the soonest. They are often the ones who will advocate for others and speak up even when things do not directly affect them. They have made it their duty to try to protect others, whether that's on a smaller personal scale or in a bigger societal scale. They continue to keep humanity visible even when it seems like a dark, apathetic time in the world. But this awareness of all the suffering and having a weight of that on your shoulders does absolutely lead to burnout and to compassion fatigue, because often we feel powerless to do anything about the injustices and the suffering that we're witnessing. You may feel like it is your job alone to carry all this, and that if you're aware of it, it's your responsibility to fix. But the truth is that nobody can carry or fix this by themselves. Just because you can feel it doesn't mean it's yours to carry alone. So here are some boundaries that we have to set for ourselves in order to be healthy and functioning people in the world. And I wrote them down, so it can be helpful to say this out loud to yourself or even in your mind as you feel your normal patterns arising. Things like, you are not responsible for regulating other people's emotions. You are not responsible for fixing every discomfort. You are not responsible for holding everybody together. And you are not responsible for ending the world's suffering. Because with all of those things that I just said, oftentimes you can't do it. Even if you want to, you cannot fix everybody's emotions. You cannot end all the suffering that you're seeing out there. So it really will be just like an Atlas holding up the earth situation, or the dude rolling the stone up the hill and it falling back down over and over. You will never achieve what you're trying to do. So it is best to just go ahead and set that boundary and say, I can't do it and I won't try. Just because you are aware of a problem does not automatically make you obliged to fix it. And you can tell yourself, all right, today I can notice what is going on without immediately taking it on as my job to solve. And I know this is hard. This is such a hard thing to do, especially for women, for caretakers, for those with kind hearts. Setting these boundaries feels like you're letting so many people down. But it is the healthier way, because if you burn out, then you have nothing left to give. It's that phrase, you can't pour from an empty cup. So you need to make sure that your cup isn't empty. It's about giving yourself permission to set the weight down and know that it's okay to rest. It's okay to take a step back. It's okay to not try to fix things. And it's okay to choose your moments, because oftentimes there are moments where it is worth it to you to go ahead and try to make things better, whether it's in your relationship or something in the world that you think you can make a positive contribution towards and make the world a little bit better in your pocket of the earth. But it's knowing those moments that you do take action versus those moments where you're like, okay, I'm going to take a step back. And then also, it's okay to talk to others about how you're feeling, because us humans are not meant to carry this weight of the world, and we're especially not meant to do it alone. So even just sharing when you feel overwhelmed by the weight of it all, talking to someone you trust about that, maybe that itself can release some of the weight and ground you. And maybe that other person can help remind you, hey, you're not in this by yourself. And also, you're not in charge of fixing all of this either. So that is something that can be very life-changing, because the world desperately needs people who can feel and care deeply, but it also needs those people to survive. So let's do what we can to survive. A question for you guys: if you identify as one of those emotionally aware, empathetic people, what is something that has been weighing on you the most lately? Please put that in the comments if you feel comfortable, and we can help each other hold up the weight of it, or maybe just set it down. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Michelle. Please like and subscribe, and I will connect again with you soon.